10 of Julie's advent calendars. Lavender Loon, Adelaide Cottage, what was this one?
Lay Family Yarn.
Lay Family Yarn, Woolberry Fiber Co., and Dragon Horde yarns. This one was the, I'm Ron by the way, Ron Weasley. Good morning! Today is day 11 of Vlogmas. I'm just now getting ready to leave Julie's. We had such a delightful weekend. Obviously, we always have fun together, so just a wonderful time. Friend that you can kind of like be anybody around, like you can be yourself around is what I'm trying to say. It snowed. Oh, you can't see that because of the light shining in. Okay, there you go a little bit, yeah. It snowed. It was magical. We have probably, I don't know, 4 inches out there. But yeah, it's been very shoveled, so I'm just waiting for an Uber now to take me to Hoboken train station, and then from Hoboken train station I'll take the path on the way home, and then it's gonna be a full day of quilting. Just got back to Bay Ridge, walking back to my apartment, and then I'm going to have my 2 crafty besties of Bay Ridge over soon, Shauna and Grace, and we're gonna knit at my apartment, and I'm going to sew my quilts. I need to get my snow legs out right now because the walks have been shoveled, which honestly it's easier to walk on snow to me than it is to walk on shoveled walks, because then they just freeze over and you slip and fall. And I've got like the worst balance, like the worst. Hello, just got home. It feels so good to be back. I have such an amazing time with Julie every time, but you know, like when it's time to actually go home and then all you want to do is just be like home immediately. So I'm happy to be back here with the kitties, and I'm so ready for a full day of sewing. I need to take a shower first and just like feel more human, and I got a coffee and some biscuits from McDonald's, so I'm ready to start the day. Let's do this. Oh, she missed her mama. Sorry, Toots. I gotta sew now. Day 10 is roasted chestnut. How beautiful is this? Oh, I love that. That's one of my favorite ones in the advent calendar this year. So dimensional, so soft. Drag out all of the quilting stuff. I got a couple of questions actually, from Yarny Paws on my Ravelry thread, that my Ravelry Ask Me Anything thread, and I thought they were 2 really good questions, so I was just going to answer them really quick for everyone. You said in your Vlogmas that you don't love crescent-shaped shawls. What is your favorite type of shawl shape and why? So I have 3 different types of shawl shapes here. to illustrate my point. This one is a crescent-shaped shawl. Crescent-shaped shawls are very, very wide and not very deep. The reason I don't like crescent-shaped shawls as much is because whenever I put it on, they're more difficult to style. These tails are really, really long, and you don't see a whole lot of the design in a crescent-shaped shawl because the depth isn't long enough to see all of it. And even if I were like, you know, try to pull this out, then it kind of dangles awkwardly below my neck where I need it up here to keep me warm. So I just can't see very much of it is my problem. And I love the design of it and the texture of this kind of diamond. Excuse me, Jafar. I love the texture and design of these diamonds, but unfortunately when it's on, you can't see very much of it. So to me, crescent-shaped shawls act more like a scarf than like a shawl. And then the second part of your question is, what is your favorite type of shawl shape and why? And my favorite shawl shape is, without a doubt, the half pie shape, which is a half circle. And I like it because, especially this right here is the Exploration Station by Stephen West. I like this one in particular. It's really, really big. It's wrapped around my neck, all the way up close to my neck, and you can still see a lot of the design features. Now, if this shawl had this texture pattern to it, it would be a match made in heaven for me because I love the simple texture. I love the one color. But this one, without a doubt, gets the most wear because of the shape. It's easy to wear. You can see more of it. Yeah, that's just kind of why I like them better. So this is my favorite. My second favorite, runner-up, is a triangular shawl, which is named as obvious because it's a triangle shape. Again, because you can see more of the design. Excuse me. You can see more of the design. However, I like the circle edge more than I like a triangular edge because to me a triangular edge kind of has like a bandana look to it, which stylistically I don't like as much, whereas like this is more of a functional and a style preference. This one's more functional but less style preference than the circle. So to me that's just a matter of preference. But as far as like being able to see more of the design, again, triangular shawl works better for me than the crescent. So I hope that answers your question. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the Ask Me Anything thread on Ravelry. I received another question from the same person, Yarny Paws, who says, I noticed on your project page for your granny stripe blanket that you don't always use fingering weight yarn and sometimes you put in worsted and even Aran weights. Do you find this affects the tension or the shape of the blanket, or is it fairly forgiving with different weights? I would like to start a granny stripe blanket. Thank you for your question. So I conveniently have my granny stripe blanket here to show you. You can definitely tell when you use a heavier weight yarn in the blanket. For example, right here. This is a heavier weight yarn. I do 3 of the triple crochets as called for by the pattern in my blanket. So you'll see I have 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 into each of the clusters. So 3 clusters of 3. When I use heavier weight yarns, like this one right here, I kind of just feel it out as I go. So for this one, I only did 2 clusters of the 3 rather than the 3. I used the same hook throughout, no matter what. And sometimes I still keep the 3. For example, this one right here, which is definitely a heavier weight yarn, but I still used 3 clusters. I mean, it puffs out a little bit more, but in the grand scheme of the blanket, this pink one here, for example, that one is definitely a worsted bordering on Aran weight, I believe, yarn right here. It puffs out a little bit more, but you can't really tell overall in the blanket. However, my blanket is extremely scrappy in that I do not do one full color like for the entire row. I'll stop like mid-row and change colors probably 2 or 3 times minimum 3. I would say. Well, maybe some of them have 2, but usually 3 times I'll change colors in the blanket. So I'm not sure exactly how that would work out if you were using a heavier weight yarn at the edge, but I wouldn't hesitate to do so, even if If I wanted to use a heavier weight on the edge, I would. I'm not sure that I have, that I can see here. I don't think, oh yeah, I did, right here. And it makes it go out just slightly more, but not by a lot. I mean, this one right here is lace weight, this kind of gold color that I held double to kind of get to a fingering weight. So, I mean, as you can see, I've used tons of different weights in here, and overall, it doesn't affect the blanket, in my opinion. So I say go forth and mix, because I have so many, you know, scraps from all these projects, and I would love to use them all in the blanket. I don't see any reason why you can't put them all in the same one, but that's just my 2 cents. So I realized the next day that I totally forgot to show you guys what I got at the Christmas market in Union Square the other day. Are you ready? Are you ready? Look at this beautiful puzzle. It's a Harry Potter puzzle, and they had about 10 different kinds, not all of them Christmas themed, but this one is Christmas themed, and it's 500 pieces, and it is amazing. The same artist, I believe, who did the art for the books, although I'm not 100% certain on that. I could maybe be lying, but it looks very similar if it is. I love it so much. And here's a quick close-up of the other ones that they had. They have a picture. So Diagon Alley, Battle with the Dragon, Hogwarts, Quidditch, Dueling Wizards, Flying Keys, and they also had a 3 broomsticks one, which I was very tempted by as well, but I chose this one over 3 broomsticks. The only thing that's like a little bit disappointing is that Hermione isn't in this one, and she was in the 3 broomsticks one, but I just loved the composition of this one, and there were more characters in this one, so I ended up going for this one. But I miss you, Hermione! Is there such a thing as playing fabric chicken? Because I'm definitely doing it, but I think I'm gonna have enough. I think. Come on, spatial thinking skills. Don't fail me now. Hi! Grace brought me this Christmas pickle ornament. Look how funny and cute it is. Is there a story behind the Christmas pickle?
Yeah, apparently parents will hide it in the Christmas tree, and the child that finds is the most observant, and they get an extra present.
Oh, hey! Well, I guess that's me, because I'm the only one.
Are you gonna press the center seam?
No.
No? Okay.
No, I'm not.
All right then.
on the second quilt right now. I was going to do this one quilt as you go, and do lots of rows of stitching in each of these, but I feel like I'm just feeling the pressure of time crunch, and I think done is better than perfect, so I think I'll just stitch in the ditch for this one as well, like I did with my first one. Yeah, so I just love the color palette of this one. Really pleased how it's going to turn out. So the first one's quilted and just needs to be bound. And then the second one in the top is completely ready and is ready for quilting. All right, well, I've been working on these quilts literally all day from the time I got home, so I will probably call it a night here and just watch some Netflix and chill with the kitties for a bit before heading to bed. So I will see you in the morning. Bye!